Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan discussing something that came up. It's come up time and time again. And I'm sure you guys have even heard a little bit about it, but it's the fact that the Trump family might be time travelers. Well, not all of them, I don't think, but at least Barron or at least Donald, Mr. President, or Donald's uncle. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to play the Joe Rogan clip, and then we're going to get into this weird little thing about the Trumps possibly being time travelers, this wild book that came out. I'm going to go through all the weird similarities and things that have taken place in the book and in real life, and it's just the books, in fact. So let's just get into that.
How is that for the metaphysics of life?
That's nuts.
It's a small world.
That's weird. That's weird. Yeah. There's certain things that are like, okay, what are we dealing with here?
Yeah.
Like, is this a simulation? Like, what is this?
Right.
Have you seen the thing about the book from 1953 that talks about Elon wanting to go to Mars? Like a Werner von Braun?
No.
Have you seen this? Where's my phone? I saw Elon tweet it. Yeah, Elon tweeted it. You can find it. See, look, there's certain things where you go, come on. Just even the name Elon, and Elon's going to take us to Mars. Like,
sorry, you mean in there's a character.
So here it is. This is in a Werner von Braun book. So Elon is the elected leader of the Martian government, serving a 5-year term. Elon and their cabinet administrator have laws enacted by 2 houses of parliament. Elon in Project Mars, a technical tale, is the name of the Martian leader, and the connection between the character and Elon Musk led to speculation about Werner von Braun's influence on Musk's space exploration.
Okay, now
so this is a book from, I think it's 1953.
Okay, you ready?
Right? Is that when he wrote it, Jamie?
Hold on.
See if you can find the tweet, that Elon's tweet, because Elon's tweet is hilarious. Because like, how is this possible? Because he's like, this doesn't even make sense. This is so crazy.
I do have one non-sexy explanation that can explain this.
Okay.
One of his parents was a huge fan of that author, read that book, and in honor of that character, actually called Elon Musk Elon.
Sure, that's great. But what are the odds that guy's going to develop rockets?
That's true.
What are the odds that your little baby boy, who you're naming when he was 1 day old, is going to develop?
Yeah, that part.
1953 book, Mars Project by Werner von Braun says the leader of Mars shall be called Elon. Someone pulled the original German manuscript out of the archives to debunk the myth, only to confirm that von Braun did indeed predict he'd be called Elon. And Elon writes, "How can this be real?" It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because the guy's literally obsessed with Mars and has created rockets that you can catch. Rockets that
have you seen when Trump explains that?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So amazing.
It's amazing what he can do with these rockets. it's nuts, man. We're living in a very, very strange time. What is this? Is this Elon's dad?
It says Elon's father named him after reading the book. It's common knowledge.
Amazing. He did name him after reading the book.
Okay, so
amazing.
I got also, that part. Okay.
Still, what are the odds?
Still.
What are the odds? There's 8 billion people on this planet. What are the odds that your kid who you named Elon because you read a book becomes the guy? And Elon didn't even know about it? Wow.
What about the thing with Barron Trump? Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah. Like, that's nuts, too.
That's wild.
Find that one. That one's nuts, too. That one's completely bizarre.
Barron, the young kid.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, he'll pull it up. Okay. I don't want to fuck it up. But there's a few of those that make you wonder, like, is this a simulation? Is this real? I feel like there's aspects of it that are real.
I'm trying to find the year. There's a series of books from, like, I think it's the late 1800s or something.
Yeah.
About, it says 1900 here, but it's like a person named Barron Trump goes on these adventures, gets a guy from Manhattan to be his, like, guide. It's very strange and very similar to, like, what.
See if you can find what the synopsis, like what connects it to Barron Trump. It seems real weird. It's almost like the telepathy thing, like someone in the past says, I think something's going to happen one day. I just get this feeling. This is Elon. You know what I mean? Like I think there's some weird things about the potential futures. And that might be also what we're seeing with this alien stuff. I think this alien stuff might be the future.
How many times have you had Elon on the show?
Oh, a bunch of times.
The book was called The Last President. Oh, ad blocker.
The Last President. That's kind of crazy. Because if it's the fan in the aliens land, he is the last president. An 1889 novel called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey was written by Ingersoll Lockwood. He would go on to write another book called The Last President in 1900. Mystery which involves the Trump family, Nikola Tesla, time travel, and dark forces.
Wow.
Dun, dun,
Lives in a
dun.
castle called Castle Trump.
So he's follows the adventures of a young aristocrat named Barron Trump living in a castle named Castle Trump, which is crazy. The character is described as intelligent, curious, and somewhat arrogant, guided by his mentor, Dawn. Barron embarks on fantastical journeys, including one to discover a magical portal in Russia.
Uh-oh. Putin connections confirmed.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
It's like, is life real?
Wow.
I think life's mostly real. But, this is the problem with the whole idea of simulation theory, is that if it's true, if there is a simulation, and the simulation, if we develop technology where the simulation becomes indiscernible from reality itself,
Right.
how will we know?
Right.
Maybe we'll know from goofy clues like that,
Like this.
like silly coding,
Who
Easter
comes-
eggs that God leaves behind.
I would love to know what was the mechanism by which, for each of those stories that you came up with, who came up with? Like,
Right.
was it just a fan of one of those books who said, "Wait a minute"? And
Right. Well, the weird one is, why is Werner von Braun writing fiction when he's a f***ing Nazi? What
right.
in Nazi running NASA, and before that he was writing fiction? Like, how's he have
Wow.
time? How's he have time to write fiction when this guy's in the middle of developing rockets for the Germans?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
story. So what are
Werner von Braun, Elon's real dad. Putting it out there. Is that possible? I don't know. I've never seen a picture of the guy. He's just like, my son's gonna, and that's why he knew. He's like, he's gonna develop rockets because I'm gonna make him develop rockets. That's how I know. I don't know. Very, very odd stuff. That whole thing, I didn't even realize that was in the clip. I knew about the Trump stuff. I didn't know about the Elon stuff. That's super weird. The fact that the guy who's making rockets and is a terrible human is making nice little fun stories about a guy named Elon who's going to Mars and doing all this stuff. And then a guy named Elon is actually doing that today. And then Elon does the Elon salute connection to von Braun again. Like, what? He didn't do the salute. Everybody knows. It's okay. So many people who are, we're supposed to be on the side where jokes are okay. But then you make jokes about that, and they're like, "Come on, he didn't do it. Come on, he's obviously not a Nazi." It's like, yeah, obviously. Jeez, like, come on, you gotta learn to take jokes. Anyway, the Trump stuff is, I would say, even more weird than that whole thing. Here, I'm gonna give you this first little part, and then I'm gonna go through a bunch of stuff with the books and the weird correlations. Listen to this.
Tesla and Donald Trump. And go back to the 1940s. The inventor Nikola Tesla died in 1943. The FBI was called in to vet his inventions to make sure there was nothing dangerous there that could fall into enemy hands. And they called an MIT electrical engineering professor, a very esteemed one named John Trump. Now, it turns out that John Trump is, in fact, the uncle of the President of the United States. So an interesting thing there, and by the way, he found out that Tesla's inventions, which included a purported death ray, were not necessarily dangerous to society. But then if you flash forward to today, you've got Tesla, the automaker, named after this inventor, Nikola Tesla. And in a way, Elon Musk is the intellectual descendant of Nikola Tesla, a futurist, a polymath, and someone with a million inventions in his mind, who sometimes emulates the president, Alexis, with Twitter, but sometimes spars with him about, say, emission standards and Chinese tariffs. So very interesting connection.
So that clip was from 4 years ago. All right. So that's all true. Nikola Tesla passes away in New York City. John G. Trump ends up going to his place. The FBI, the government, sends him in because he's the one that's going to know what's of value. They say that there's supposedly 80 trunks filled with stuff. They're like, go look at it all. It might as well just be you and let us know. John G. Trump comes back and says, oh, there wasn't 80 trunks. There was only like 30. Okay. So he's like, "Yeah, there's like 30 and nothing of any value." So what did he do? Maybe he took the most valuable things. Maybe he took the stuff that was about time travel. Who knows? But then from there, supposedly creates a time machine, disappears, goes away in his time machine. Then that book comes out. It came out in 1896. Barron Trump, Marvelous Underground Journeys. Okay, so that's about a kid who is time traveling. I believe that's the time travel book. He's time traveling. His mentor in the book is named Don. What? Yeah. His mentor is named Don. And then a lot of people are saying, yeah, and we're going to go into some more, but they're saying that picture of the little boy named Barron, because that's the cover of the book, looks a lot like Barron when he was a little boy. And, you know, it kind of does. It's not spot on, but if you're going for a rough draft of Barron, or a rough sketch of what Barron looks like, this is pretty solid, right? Go back there. See what I mean? So there's videos on this and everything. That's the cover of the book right there. Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. So he's running around doing all sorts of things. And then people who actually read the book and then look, Jesus, sorry about that, guys. People who actually read the book and look into Barron Trump when he was a kid, there's like all these parallels. Very precocious, has these little insults lined up for people, you know, fun stuff. But they just noticed that the two personalities are very aligned. Okay, so then time travels, mentor's named Don. Then there's a book called The Last President. In that book, there's someone who works in the White House whose last name is Pence, and he's one of the characters, which is very, very weird. Now, this book is actually about a populist president who somehow, and I don't know how this would happen, ushers in socialism and communism. So that's far off from the president we see in front of us today, right? But he is a populist president. So it's very weird. In that book, the president's name is not Donald Trump or anything. It's not that on the nose. And then the guy's last book, who wrote these books, is about immortality. So it's very odd. And then when you look at everything, now Donald Trump's uncle has this connection to Tesla, and now Donald Trump has this connection to Tesla. It's crazy. So yeah, now Donald Trump is connected to Elon Musk. Elon Musk, like that guy was saying, is like Nikola Tesla. Not really, but his company's named Tesla. So he has a direct connection to today's Tesla, the actual company, and the guy who is creating things like crazy. Very, very weird stuff. And it only gets weirder as time goes on, because when people first pointed this book out, it was 2017, because Trump had gotten in office, and then people started being like, whoa, this is a weird book, you know? And they started connecting the Barron Trump character to Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump was the time traveler. But now, as Barron gets older, and he's 9 feet tall, and he's a little mysteriously charismatic, and he's getting to the front stage, and people are very interested. Sorry. And Donald Trump himself is saying, you know, my win in this election had a lot to do with Barron. Barron knew what to do. He was the one telling me which podcasts to be on and everything like that. So now the narrative is kind of moving away from Donald Trump being the time traveler and Barron Trump actually being the time traveler. He traveled in time. The book was about a guy named Barron who travels in time, whose mentor is Don. And now all of a sudden, this kid is now helping his father named Don become president. Could possibly be the last president. A lot of people wouldn't have a problem with that. Oh, it's very, very weird. Very, very weird. Just the fact that Trump's uncle cleaned out, possibly, allegedly, you know, this is a theory, cleaned out Nikola Tesla's stuff and possibly created a time machine. I love that. I already like him as a president. But to think about that, that's what happened to your family, and now your kid decided to time travel, and he's making sure to help you be as president and could very likely be who the last president is, which the guy wrote a book about as well. Because there's a chance. It's not a solid chance. It's not a for sure chance, but there's a chance Barron could end up as president one day. There's a lot of people that probably wouldn't mind it if he came through and he had, the same ideals as his dad, and he was very, cunning online, and if there even is online by then, and was saying all the same thing his dad was, and was looking out for the people. People might actually go for that. You know what I mean? Very weird stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Who is the time traveler in this scenario? Do you think it's Barron? I think it might be Barron. Barron's very mysterious. He's a kid, and then all of a sudden he's 6'9", and he's just like, "Hi, how you doing?" And he's just very mysterious, very slick, not playing around. I don't know, man. Dad's Donald Trump. Mom was a supermodel. It's like, jeez, the genes on this guy. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and look up the book. There are many. If you just write in Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey by Ingersoll Lockwood, there's a bunch of audios of the books. You can actually listen to the whole book and hear what it's all about, and time traveling and the mentor named Don and all this weird stuff. But I mean, even past the book and everything, the really weird part is that his uncle had access to Nikola Tesla's stuff. And it's like, what did he do with that stuff? There's no way that Nikola Tesla didn't have not too many things of value. There's no way. All he was doing was working on stuff. All he was doing was sketching things out and coming up with theories on how to create free energy and wireless transmissions and all these different things. There's no way that just conceptually he didn't have something of massive value. I don't know. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. We need it right now. YouTube is going at us right now. We don't know why. We're just focusing in. I don't complain about it, but please turn on the notifications. We're pushing through. Like, subscribe. I'm out.